In 2021, a robot landed on Mars, and what it found stunned scientists. Inside rocks billions of years old, there was something no one expected to find there: organic traces, the fingerprints of life. But that's not the real question. The real question is, why is there still no definitive explanation? Because the data is incredibly hard to interpret. But no one can say yes, because the data still isn't enough for a definitive answer. What did they find on Mars? Why have we been waiting so long? And most importantly, are we really ready? Imagine, there is red soil beneath your feet, the sky is rust-colored, the sun pale and distant. The wind blows, but there is no sound. You cannot breathe because there is no air here. As you take a step, a strange sound comes from beneath the soil. Something frozen is breaking, and in that moment, you realize, this place is not dead. It is just waiting. This is Mars, a planet where rivers once flowed, the sky was blue, and perhaps life existed billions of years ago. Then everything stopped. The atmosphere vanished, the water evaporated, the surface froze. But some things never disappeared. They remained hidden beneath the soil, and we are trying to find them. When you look at the surface of Mars, you immediately realize how wild the planet was in the past. Rising from the Tharsis Plains is Olympus Mons, the largest volcano in the solar system. It is so massive that its base is nearly twice the size of Arizona. If it were on Earth, it could cover an entire continent. Formed by billions of years of flowing lava, this giant makes even Everest look small. And it tells us one thing: Mars was once anything but tranquil. Stretching along the planet's equator, Valles Marineris is a cosmic gash, seemingly torn open by the crust. Named after the Mariner 9 spacecraft that discovered it, this massive canyon system is nearly as long as the United States from coast to coast, from New York to Los Angeles. This structure, many times larger than Earth's famous Grand Canyon, reveals how powerful the planet's internal dynamics once were. And perhaps, deep within these massive cracks, secrets from the past still lie hidden. In early 2021, the Perseverance rover reached Mars and immediately got to work. Cameras started rolling, sensors activated, lasers targeted rocks. Then something happened. The rover detected traces of organic molecules in Jezero crater, millions of miles away. Scientists at NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory were glued to their screens, because organic molecules are the building blocks of life. The signal was verified again and again, but the information that came in was correct. Scientists had never been this excited, because what they learned was not just a piece of rock, but the beginning of a story. 3.5 billion years ago, Mars was not made up of the red and barren deserts we see today. A vast ocean covered most of the northern hemisphere. Rivers flowed, lakes filled, and rain fell. The atmosphere was thick and protected the planet from harmful solar radiation. The temperature was suitable for life. If you could have stood on the shore of Mars during that period, the landscape you saw would have reminded you of Earth. Then everything changed. The planet cooled, the magnetic field weakened. The atmosphere was slowly stripped away by solar winds and blown into space. The oceans first froze, then evaporated. Rivers vanished, leaving behind petrified riverbeds, and it took thousands of years. A silent, slow, merciless death. But Mars did not die completely. Scientists can see the traces of ancient rivers today. Satellite images clearly reveal valleys that flowed billions of years ago. Jezero crater was once a lake. Perseverance landed precisely on this ancient lake bed because lake beds are the places that preserve traces of life the longest, and they found something there. The first clue came when no one was expecting it. In 2004, the Mars Express satellite detected methane gas in the atmosphere. This didn't seem like a minor detail, because methane is an unstable gas. It breaks down quickly in sunlight. If there is methane in the Martian atmosphere, it means that this gas is constantly being reproduced. And there are two things that produce methane: geological activity or living organisms. There is no clear evidence of large active volcanoes on Mars today. So where is this methane coming from? Scientists debated this for a long time. The Curiosity rover landed in Gale Crater in 2013 and began measuring methane levels in the atmosphere. The results were strange. Methane levels fluctuated between night and day and varied from season to season, as if something was releasing this gas at regular intervals. If this gas was really being produced by living organisms, life could still exist on Mars today. Then came the organic molecules. Curiosity found carbon-based organic molecules in rock samples from Gale Crater. These molecules had been trapped inside the rocks for billions of years. They weren't alive on their own, but they carried signs of an environment where life could exist, and that was enough to raise a huge question mark. The real shock came from elsewhere. In 2018, the European Space Agency announced that it had detected a liquid water lake beneath the ice layer at Mars' south pole. It was a salty lake about 20 kilometers wide deep beneath the surface. It remained liquid despite the freezing cold. Similar environments exist on Earth beneath Antarctica's ice sheets, where microbes thrive. Could they also exist on Mars? One morning, NASA called a press conference. The halls were filled, the cameras were ready. The announcement came. However, it was a careful, measured, and extremely cautious one. They said they had obtained unusual findings. They added that research was ongoing and it was still too early to reach a definitive conclusion. The room fell silent because everyone was expecting to hear something different, but those expected words did not come. In science, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Saying that life has been found on Mars would be one of the greatest announcements in human history. That is why scientists do not speak without certainty. So why are they so cautious? The answer is actually simple, but its implications are enormous. Because there is a fundamental rule in the scientific world. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. If there is life on Mars, it could be the first proof that we are not alone in the universe. Such a discovery would be one of the greatest turning points in human history. That's why scientists don't speak unless they are 100% certain. And in science, 100% certainty is almost never possible. But the data continued unchanged. Perseverance detected stromatolite-like structures in Jezero Crater. Stromatolites are rock structures formed by the first life forms on Earth. They are biological traces billions of years old. Those on Mars are not identical, but they are surprisingly similar in shape. Were they formed by geological features? Theoretically, yes. But is it possible for them to be so systematic and regular? Scientists are not sure. This is where the story gets murky. Some argue that the data should be shared more transparently with the public. However, institutional structures move slowly. Verifying data and disproving alternative theories takes time. Meanwhile, Mars keeps drifting farther away. Perhaps the answer has already been revealed, but are we ready to see it yet? Perseverance is currently traversing Mars. Its wheels are crushing the red soil, its sensors are collecting data, and its arms are filling small metal tubes with rock samples. These tubes are sealed and stored. Because there is a plan, NASA and ESA's joint Mars Sample Return mission aims to bring these samples back to Earth. Billions of years old Martian rocks will be examined in laboratories, and perhaps the answer we seek will finally emerge. Perhaps the answer is currently waiting on the surface of Mars inside a small metal tube, and humanity is closer than ever to the greatest discovery in its history. Billions of years old Martian rocks can be analyzed in Earth laboratories. The answer will have nowhere to hide. However, this mission may not be completed until the mid-2030s at the earliest, so the answer awaits us. Inside those tubes, beneath the red soil, deep within the ice layers, this wait continues humanity's quest to discover whether we are alone in the universe. Mars is the closest candidate to answer this question. Consider this. Billions of years ago, there were two neighboring planets. Both had water, both had atmospheres and suitable conditions for life. On one, life developed, flourished, and eventually, beings emerged that studied their own planet. What happened on the other is not yet fully known, but perhaps there was something on that planet, microscopic, short-lived, or just enough to leave a trace. That trace is still there. It has been waiting silently for billions of years for someone to come and look. We came, we are looking, and every day we get one step closer to the answer. Today on Future Theory X, we explored the traces of life hidden deep within Mars and the great curiosity that divides the scientific world. So what do you think? Is there really life on Mars, or is it just an illusion? We look forward to your predictions in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Turn on notifications. The next topic might be even darker and more mysterious. See you in the next video.